Across Nigeria, the pace of life is changing. People are more connected, businesses are more agile, and governments are adapting. And in the midst of it all, a quiet transformation is underway, a movement towards something more structured, more intentional, a digital framework that brings together people, systems, and data for real impact. Nigeria stands among other developing countries on the fast lane, where embracing digital transformation is no longer a choice for all governments but an absolute necessity, where we must leverage technology to enhance public administration, public financial management, and service delivery for our citizens. That is why the Nigeria Governors Forum put together the 9th edition of the National Peer Learning Events, with this year's program dedicated to the transformational role of digital public infrastructure in public finance and public service delivery.
The key thing I'm expecting the DPI readiness pool to create competitiveness among states and to motivate states to be digitally ready and to increase the number of digital automations of services that states do offer and policies around ICT that states do offer.
For me, it's an avenue of networking because we're able to meet a lot of pilots of different industries, most especially those in the ICT and also in the internal revenue services. So I think for us is an opportunity to explore more, to have a kind of a knowledge sharing platform that everyone meets and share his own experience.
Today and tomorrow, we gather to present findings of our work over the last year and to foster peer learning and collective action among states and with our federal partners. This is an opportunity to discuss the findings from our DPI and RIA tools, which our team developed in close collaboration with Microsave Consulting, whose international experience has been invaluable to the work.
At DPI, of course, being the digital public infrastructure, leveraging technology is and has always been one of the driving force for enhancing economic and financial inclusion. If you're talking about financial inclusion, whereby people, open an account, enrolled on BVN and NIN number to come into the formal financial sector, as well as economic inclusion, which has to do with economic opportunities. Government this administration is way out there, particularly in social investment initiatives supporting the last mile. So to do this, to get to that last mile, for us to have a tracking system to be able to know that the money has actually been disbursed to the targeted beneficiary, I think you can't do it other than technology. So technology, which is the backbone of the DPI, since the DPI is talking about payment systems, identity, as well as the data exchange. So that's why you can now see the areas of collaboration. So most of the work I do actually in the office is actually leveraging DPI to achieve my goal. And that our goal is to ensure that every economically active Nigerian is not left behind.
At the heart of this event lies the launch of the Digital Public Infrastructure Readiness and Intelligence Revenue Authority Indices, vital tools designed to assess and enhance the capabilities of our digital ecosystem. This marks a key milestone in our journey towards public sector innovation.
Today we've also launched 2 tools, the DPI and the IRA tools, specifically for the Digital Authority and the Revenue Authority of States. What those tools will be doing, or the reports essentially, will provide 2 key deliverables for states. One, it identifies their digital maturity. The second key objective is to provide a roadmap to transform their system, their digital strategies, to be more compliant to DPI ideals. So the focus is on digital identity, digital exchange platforms, and digital payments. We believe that this new roadmap, if collaborated with federal agencies, can drive and transform the way our MDAs at the state levels work.
the process of the DPI will allow immediate and real-time notification to taxpayers of their obligations, and it will enable the tax authorities to have real-time changes in their attitudes, in their processes, in whatever the taxpayers are doing. The ultimate result will be increased compliance, more revenue for the country.
The DPI Readiness Index captures the foundational digital capabilities across governance, identity, payment, and data systems. The IRA Index, Intelligence Revenue Authority, evaluates how well state revenue authorities across Nigeria are leveraging digital public infrastructure, DPI, and intelligence revenue systems for effective revenue administration.
If DPI is going to be the engine that's going to drive the economy, revenue is going to be its fuel that's going to power it.
Nigeria has got a very solid foundation when it comes to DPI. You have an NIN which has more than 50% coverage. You have a very solid interbank payment settlement system. So I would say you are already far ahead when it comes to the DPI journey. I think what Nigerian state needs to focus on is to build their policies which have more compliance with national policy frameworks and a DPI component. So what do I mean is that how ready states are to implement Data Protection Act and cybersecurity policy, interoperability frameworks. Having said that, I believe that because states have already a very solid foundation, a lot of focus needs to be on adoption and the usage. So of course, you have many ministries, agencies who are deploying the payment systems, are implementing various services. But what about the usage and the adoption? So the focus on usage and adoption has to be very crucial as well. And third, which I think has been discussed since today morning, the data sharing is where the true value of DPI lies. I think it's fantastic to know that Nigeria is already building a national data exchange platform, but then integrating various states, ministries, and stakeholders to it will be definitely a game changer.
Digital public infrastructure is the way to go for any 21st century country. We're just following in the footsteps of other more advanced nations. And this will help with everything, including revenue generation, health, education, agriculture. It is limitless in its application. So this index will just help states to know exactly where they are and know what gaps to fill in terms of technical ability, infrastructure, and other things, for them to know exactly which gaps to fill for us to get to where we want.
Across 2 days of dialogue and discovery, one truth stood out. The future of digital governance in Nigeria belongs to us all, not just the federal government.
It's been a journey of about a year now. When we started this journey, we definitely knew there was some disparity in terms of where different states were in their digital maturity. But what was not clear was where each state were, because to intervene or design any real reform or any way to move the needle or get states on track, you really need to know where they were. And I think that was one of the triggers for us taking this up and to be able to engage better. And I would say coming along that journey and working with states, because we had to then speak with them. Not only did they fill out the questionnaire, but we really worked with them, making sure they understood what the objectives were, making sure they understood what the journey was going to be, and then taking feedback. At some point, we tweaked the questionnaires. We did obviously request for evidences to support the feedbacks we were getting. We had interviews with key persons, key officials, to also understand the underlying issues, understand the context, and why certain things were happening. And all of that is what has come together for the two index reports you have. One on DPI, looking at the entire ecosystem and the economy, and then the Internal Revenue Authority, which was just to see, again, DPI in action. We did pick the Internal Revenue Service Authority as one key use case that we could look at. And it also brings to life the dichotomy between digitalization and DPI. Because very much what everyone has really been doing is digitalizing in silos. And really for DPI, it's very important that this all connects, interoperable. The foundation around the identity is there.
As we close this chapter at the NGF's flagship DPI Pair Learning event, the work continues. The journey to enhance Nigeria's digital public infrastructure is ongoing, and together, we are crafting a legacy that will empower generations to come. Together, we are not just digitizing processes, we are redefining service delivery. We are building systems that serve people first. We are turning data into insight, insight into action, and action into progress that lasts.